Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in this world. This is Hejin Lee with morning update for Bitcoin. Last night we left the update from the evening as an ABC of this type, more on the secondary count or alternate count. And I think it's still likely for this to be an ABC, but I think there's also a fractal to be discussed. And that's what I want to cover in this morning's update. And that fractal has to do with this region again. And here you can see the left shoulder, head, and right shoulder. And we had covered this at that time while this was progressing. And we thought that maybe it could have a potential to decline in a head and shoulders manner because some do still decline in the head and shoulders manner even without the volume confirmation. At that time, we saw that the left shoulder was much higher than the head. Therefore, we didn't get that volume confirmation. So I want to go back to now this part, current price. So we are looking at a left shoulder, head, and a potential right shoulder forming. So let's label this correctly. And if this is the pattern that is currently being put in, then I think we can have a bit of a fractal relationship between here and maybe here as well. I'll box it in for now. So the left shoulder on the first fractal was there, the head, and the right shoulder. Now notice how on here the head was like a double peak. And I think we have the same thing here, it's just that you only have to zoom in to see the double peak. And I'm only showing that for the purpose of the consistency of the pattern. I mean, of course, it's not going to be exact, but the more similarity you have, the better the fractal. So we also had, I just showed you earlier, the volume non-confirmation. And I think here, while the higher peak on the first fractal was on the left shoulder, the higher peak on the second fractal is on the right shoulder side. This clearly, the highest point of the volume, belongs to the right shoulder. The head component has the smaller, less volume as well. And obviously the left shoulder, even though it's less than the head, the fact that the right shoulder is higher in volume than the head provides a volume non-confirmation. So I think it'll be important to see as to how these two fractals progress. And more likely than not, if this fractal does progress, it'll likely provide an impulse wave upwards towards a 10K plus target. So in other words, just like this fractal failed in providing and delivering a head and shoulders decline, I think the same thing will repeat here in that this left shoulder head and the right shoulder, once it completes, will not likely deliver a head and shoulder type of a decline because of the volume non-confirmation makes it less likely so. It doesn't make it impossible. You can still get that decline. But the fact that you do not have a volume confirmation makes it less likely. Remember, TA, technical analysis, is nothing but a game of probability. It is based on a probability principle instead of a certainty principle. So I believe the greater likelihood leans towards upside. I hope you found this to be helpful. I hope this does augment your own due diligence. Have a great day.